Hi, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies, and today I'll give you an update on all the poultry that we have. Goslings are getting big. This is Lucky over here. We took the Silky Mama out of here because she started pecking a little bit at Lucky every time Lucky stood up and towered over her. Lucky's definitely taller than the Silkies, and actually taller than the main flock at this point too. But you see, she loves her chicks. They're getting along very nicely over here. Her head has gotten so big that I couldn't use that fencing anymore to block her access to the water bowl. So I've been having to clear out that water bowl twice a day because she keeps knocking it over and making it super dirty and all that. Now the issue here is over here we have our probable Christmas goose, who's also doing very well. This one's almost a week younger. Almost a week younger than Lucky. Seems to be asking for water because I'm thinking that water is empty as well. And we still have her mom in here because she was still guarding the chicks and everything. But she just this week started laying eggs just a few days ago. So I'm thinking that tonight we're going to take this mom out and put her in with the main flock again. And I don't know if you can hear that. These goslings still have this high-pitched meep 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 voice, but every once in a while a low-pitched goose sound comes out, and it's not the full honk of the goose. I haven't heard it in the last few seconds, but they do keep making this slightly, definitely a lot lower pitch, but this short little sound that is starting to sound like a honking goose. So they're getting there. So we're going to have to rearrange the living situation here because this coop is the one where this door opens up. So what I'd like to be able to do is move Lucky in here with all the chicks. And I'm going to move the mom out, but I got to figure out what to do with this goose and where to house her. And I do have the main coop, but I actually have chicks that just hatched in the main coop. So I'm not sure how safe it is to put this gosling, who's 5 weeks in, with these chicks that are this big. Gosling's 5 weeks old now, and kind of clumsy. But I think the mom in there will take care of her chicks. So we might try it, see how things go. I might shift everyone around after dark tonight, and then I'll have to get up early and watch to see how they're doing in the morning. You still have water in there, Lucky? And you can see she doesn't have as much headroom anymore. So we're gonna have to she's not gonna be able to be in these nursery coops much longer. But maybe once I get them moved into this one, I'll start opening up this front door and allowing everyone to start meeting each other. These chicks are 5 weeks old. I usually wait until they're 8 weeks old to do that because they're big enough not to get, too picked on, but fast enough to move away. I mean, they're still small enough to not be a threat to the main flock too. These guys shouldn't be too much of a threat, but I don't want them getting trapped anywhere and picked on. What are you talking about, Lucky? Do I need to get you some fresh water? Yeah, I probably do. Okay, so we'll get them water. walls get awfully muddy in there. Okay, so that is another sign she's not really mothering her chicks. She's not trying to peck at me anymore, so it's time for her to move back with the flock, I think. We might as well move them while their water's out of there. Apparently, there was a mouse nest under that coop, and someone just found a mouse. Ran to the corner with it. There's definitely a mouse nest under there. That was such excitement. But she's not the one who actually caught it. It was the youngest girl who caught it. But it got stolen. She's the girl who's the lowest on the totem pole actually found that. And whenever I move these coops, the main flock has figured out that there's usually some sort of goodies over here, whether they're bugs or what. But you can see that they're interested in what's left behind. Okay, so I'll show you where I want to move my extra gosling to, as long as it works out. And I think she might be young enough that I think she'll mind the broody mama who's guarding her chicks. She's almost as big, or maybe about as big, as these main flock girls, and it is a Buff Orpington who's broody, who's got her chicks that has just hatched over the last couple days. So I'm going to go check on her. I'll show you the setup that she has. She's got a whole big coop to herself, so there's also lots of room in there. The only main concern is either one, she decides she doesn't like that mama and potentially starts attacking. So I'll have to double check and make sure she's okay with that. And two, that she doesn't accidentally step on those little chicks. It wasn't such a big deal when the goslings were little as well, because yes, they were bigger than the chicks, about 3 times as big, and yes, they stepped on them every once in a while, but I guess they weren't heavy enough to harm them. But now these goslings are quite large, their feet are big, and they're very clumsy. So we'll see how they do, but I think I need to try it out because I got to rearrange them so that I can work the chicks into this main flock. There's 6 chicks, and I haven't given too many updates on the 2 in the silky coop. So there's a gosling that's going to be the guard gosling or guard goose for the silkies. There's 2 regular sized chicks in there too, and actually that mama I think has stopped mothering those chicks as well, because they're all about 5 weeks. Some of the silkies will mother them longer than that, but these 2, this is the first time either of these 2 moms have gone broody. So they each stayed on the nest for 4 or 5 weeks, or stayed with the chicks, I should say, for 4 to 5 weeks. But that mom, I've noticed her kind of running some of the chicks off from the good food instead of calling them to the good food. So that kind of tells me she's done being a mom, and she's trying to control the flock. So those chicks will be moving into this main flock as well. So again, I'll have 6 chicks and Lucky in a nursery coop. And I think there's enough room, especially since over the weekend I'm going to try letting them, open up the door and let them start hanging out with the main flock. And we'll see how they do. So it's an experiment this weekend. So there goes the gosling in the silky skirt. It's a rooster. Gosling was eating her feathers around her neck, but they're starting to grow back, so that's good. So that was the original reason why I thought they were too low on protein. So I started not feeding them eggs every day, but feeding them eggs every couple days. And just giving them a couple eggs. But I think that's, actually they're doing a lot better. It was probably just how fast those goslings grow. So we have that was the mama, who's no longer really acting like a mama. My rooster. That was the other mama, who, again, she had started laying eggs. And the chicks and gosling are off hiding somewhere. There's the gosling. Okay, and there's my older mama is in here somewhere, probably hiding in the coop. And that gosling barely fits under the coop. I don't know how she still gets under there. So the two chicks that we have in here, I think one's a boy, one's a girl, because one is so much larger than the other. So I might put the big one in with my extra gosling. The rest of the chicks I can't tell. Mama hadn't been off her nest yet when I looked last, so let's see if she's gotten up yet. Still sitting on the nest, but she has eaten all the food, or the chicks have. Her chicks started hatching, I think, 2 days ago. Yeah, it was Wednesday. So the oldest ones are 2 days old, and they're obviously hiding there right now. Trick is, how do I set up a gosling and one of her chicks, one of the boys, in here with mama protecting a bunch of tiny chicks. I do have a door to this run, so I can leave that open so they have a lot more space. This run is covered for the most part, so I could set up a dog crate in the corner and leave the door open and just set them up out here first. We have a lot of self-planted tomatoes out here. But it'd be nice to be able to introduce them. I might see how they're doing tomorrow. So I might set up a dog crate with the door open out here initially, with the gosling and one chick. And then in the morning I might open the door and just see how they do. So that's the plan anyway. It's got a lot of rearranging to do. What's going to end up happening, any boys, extra boys we get, go to the freezer. Any extra goslings, any extra chicks, go to the freezer eventually. So that won't be until probably about November. We let this mama hatch out some chicks primarily so we'd have some meat chicken for the winter. Now it depends on how many boys are in those 6. So I'm just gonna have to watch them. It's too early to tell, although I think one's a boy because it's so much bigger than the other chick that one's with. But I can't exactly tell on the other ones yet because they're only about 5 weeks. These guys, it'll be a little while before I could tell how many boys, how many girls we have. I'm thinking about adding 6 girls to the main flock, and we'll cull a few of the older girls. So potentially, I don't know how many chicks she has. So far, I've seen 5. But she's still sitting on those eggs. So we'll see how many chicks we end up with here. We'll probably have 3 old hens and a rooster, maybe 4 old hens. That's 5. Put 6 pullets into the main flock. We have 1 little rooster at least here, so that's 6. We may have around a dozen that we're going to cull this fall for freezer for dinner, plus the gosling. So that'll be a big day. So that is the plan right now, because otherwise chicken math gets way out of hand and we can't have that before the winter. But I do plan, I have all this sitting here. I took it out from around the strawberries, but I was thinking about actually pulling it out and around some of this area out here so that I can let these guys out or let those guys out into more space during the day at times. So I got to set that up this weekend as well. There's a lot on the to-do list this weekend. I guess that's always the case. Every weekend I could think of 3 projects that I have to do. And we'll get some of those recorded, so I might end up with a video a day next week. We'll see. So that's the plan. That has to happen after dark tonight, so we won't get the move of the shift of everybody tonight, but we'll get some video of how they're doing tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you with the next video.